Hello, a warm welcome to everyone. I'm Priya, Assistant Professor, Department of Costume Design and Fashion. So, we are going to continue the past video. So, in this video, we are going to see about weaving and knitting. So, the yarn is then woven or knitted into a fabric. So, this is the process to which we consider or convert the yarn into the fabrics. So, first, weaving. Weaving is a fundamental process in a textile production where two distinct sets of yarns or threads known as the warp and the weft are interlaced at right angles to create the fabrics. Weaving is one of the oldest methods of fabric production and is still widely used today to produce a variety of textiles from simple cloth to intricate patterned fabrics. Key components of weaving. Warp. Definition. The warp consists of the lengthwise threads that are held under tension on a loom. These threads run parallel to the length of the fabrics. So the function is, the warp threads provides the foundation and the structure of the fabrics. They are typically stronger and more tightly twisted than the weft threads. Next, weft, or we call it as filling yarns. Definition. The weft refers to the crosswise threads that are interwoven with the warp threads. These threads are inserted under the warp threads to create the fabric. Function. The weft threads fill in the fabrics, providing the materials, bulk and pattern. They are usually softer and more pliable than the warp threads. Loom. Definition. A loom is a device used to hold the warp threads under a tension and to facilitate the interweaving of the weft threads. Types. There are various types of looms ranging from simple hand looms to complex automated power looms. Hand loom, operated manually or oftenly used for artisanals or a small scale weavings. Power loom, mechanized and used for large scale industrial weaving. So this is the hand loom, and next it is power loom. So these are all major types of looms. Weaving, the process, preparing the warp. Warping, first step in weaving is preparing the warp threads. This involves winding the warp threads onto a warp beam in a parallel arrangement. Sizing. In some cases, the warp threads are treated with sizing agents like starch to strengthen them and reduce the friction during the weaving process. Next, threading the loom. The warp threads are threaded through the heddles and the reed on the loom. The heddles are a part of the loom's harness system and helps to lift and lower specific warp threads. So this is warping. So first we will takes the threads, and it is the first step of this one. The warping is the basic step. The warp yarns are fully tightly woven over a roller and it was setted on the loom so that it will be stay very strong, so that we can proceed the warp threads to form the fabric using weft threads. The weft thread will be interlacing on between the warp threads by one up one down method. It is a plain weave method. So sizing which means applying the starch to the warp threads. So sizing which means applying the starch on the warp thread, which means making the warp threads to be more stronger and it should be stiff much more than, because this process is somewhat to be heavy and the warp threads will maybe cut down. So that to avoid that, we use these sizing methods. When we apply the starch on over the fabrics, over the warp threads, it may stay strong and it will be straight in the view. So threading the loom, it is a basic and a much more important process. So the warp beam is there. So we have to the warp yarns will be laid over that beam, and it was next inserted into the harness which means based on the count of odd and even. So the yarn, odd count yarns, that is 1, 3, 5 count yarns will be in one harness, and another harness will having 2, 4, 6. So that while we move the harness up and down, we can interlace the weft yarns to make the fabric as a filling yarns. So next is shedding, creating the shed. Shedding is a process of rising and lowering the warp threads to create an opening through which the weft thread is passed. This is controlled by the loom's harnesses, which moves the heddles. Types of shedding. Plain weave, the most basic type of weave where each warp thread alternates going over and under each weft threads. Twill weave, a weave pattern where the weft threads passes over one or more warp threads in a Saturn pattern creating diagonal lines. Next, satin weave, a weave pattern that results in a smooth, glossy surface with minimal interlacing of warp and weft threads. So this is shedding. So making up and movement down, we can proceed the filling yarns into that warp threads to make the fabric. So next, picking, intersect of weft. Picking is a process of passing the weft threads through the shed. This can be done by hand in hand loom weaving or by shuttle or other mechanisms in power loom. Shuttle. A shuttle is a device that carries the weft threads across the warp threads. In modern looms, this might be replaced by other mechanisms like air jet or rapier looms for faster and more effective weaving. So this is used to fill the yarns, that is weft yarns will be filled using the shuttles. Beating up. Beating the weft. After the weft thread is inserted, the reed, a comb-like structure, pushes the weft threads into places, making the fabric tight and uniform. Tightening the fabric. This step ensures that the weft threads are properly packed against the previous weft, forming a coherent fabrics. Taking up and letting off. Winding the fabrics. As the fabric is woven, it is wound onto a cloth beam. This is known as taking up. Next, releasing the more warp. Simultaneously, more warp thread is released from the warp beam to continue the weaving process known as lifting off. So beating up, and it is a process of moving up and down and making the yarns to be tighter. It will be making the fabric in the next process. Taking up and letting off. Take up roller and letting off roller. So these are all the process of weaving. Thank you.